So the goal of this exercise is to convert a string to a new string where each character in the string, okay, which character in the new string is this parenthesis or bracket. Then if that character appears only once in the original string, or this if that character appears more than once in the original string. Ignore capitalization when determining if a character is a duplicate. So we have this example here. Dean. I took notes that we should convert a string to this if the character appears only once in the original string, or this if the character appears more than once in the original string. So if we have Dean and we have this as the result, D appears just once and we see this open bracket there or left bracket there, and I appears once and I can see the left bracket there and N left bracket. In this case, I see we have E repeated 3 times. So E has duplicates, and I can see at the second position we have these other right brackets there, and yeah, right bracket, and this seems pretty clear what we're supposed to achieve here with solving this exercise. So right here on the right, we have the function or boilerplate function created for us. So yeah, duplicate encode, a word comes in, which I suppose we are taking in a string. Yeah, the goal of this exercise is to convert a string. So a string we have as our input. Okay, and then we are outputting a string where in character, a new string, we're outputting a string. So I'll just state it there. Input a string, output a new string. The next one. Will be like the logic on how to get this done. So heading to the whiteboard. So let's say we have Dean, or for example, we have Dean. Okay. Now with JavaScript, it means I have to, iterate somehow to find if there is a duplicate. So I'll just make it Dini, right? And in order to iterate, it means I should be iterating through an array. It should be converted to an array. Awesome. And let's say I have Dini, like, I don't need. Okay, please pardon me. Okay, so if I should iterate through Dini, I should be checking if there are duplicates, right? So if I should pick this out, I should check if there are duplicates. If there are duplicates. So duplicates, yeah. Okay, so let's say I have D. I should check if there are duplicates in, I've picked out D, right? So if there are duplicates in ini, if D, that is if D exists in ini. I pick out I. When I pick out I should check, that is the next character, if there are duplicates in D, N, I. Okay. If I should pick out N, I should check if there are duplicates in D, I, and I. I should check if there are duplicates in D. Please excuse me for not adding commas. Okay, so now how do we achieve this using JavaScript? So first I should convert word inputs to input value to array, then select each item and iterate through to check for duplicates. Then so when I do the checking for duplicates, it's going to determine if I am going to have this based on what I see here, or there are duplicates here. So this, no duplicates for n. So this, there's a duplicate for I. So this, right? So whatever the outcome is determines what the results will be. And remember, I remember actually that I am going to return a string, a new string. So first, I see that this result should be returned in a string. But before that, there are two methods that come into mind. Push the new value into the array, the new items into the array, then convert array to string. I hope I'm not too fast. If I am, please pause and go back, especially if you're new to this. But I'm sure if you're conversant with this, you just enjoy the flow. And I'm also expecting your own methods in the comment section because I want to learn. So I would prefer to do the array and join array and convert to string method. So I'll just say convert to new string, convert to an array, create a new array, select item from word array, and push equivalents, you know what I mean, to new array, then convert new array to string. Okay, I think that makes sense. We know what we're taking in, what we're taking out, what we're giving out, and then we know what to do. We have some steps highlighted here, which is to convert the input to an array, create a new array, no, then select an item and iterate through to check for duplicates, push equivalent to new array, you know what I mean, and convert the new array to string. So let's get to it. So we can just say const words equals word dot split. Okay, that converts to an array from string to an array. So I'm converting the string word to an array and storing it here in words as an array. Then creating a new array, which I'll just call new array here. And the next we have there is iterating it. So we already have an array and we can decide to use a simple for loop, or let's say a map, or for each. It depends on which one you find much more like convenient, right? So we could use a for each, or we could use a map. But in a case of map, it means that we are like returning something, like we're doing a calculation and yeah, or we're trying to do something and returning something. I'm trying to say I don't see it been the best decision in this case. Yeah, I'm not seeing it that way. However, we can make it that way because we are still going to return this, but it's going to alter what we have here. So I'll just do it for each because we can actually map, do the check and return. But and map gives you back an array. So yeah, let's just go with for each. So we will have words. So each for each word, right? So I'll just say word. So we could use anything, we could use E, X, whatever. I'm just trying to use the singular version of what we have to show that I'm taking just one word out of the words, right? It could be later for each letter, something like that. So for each there and word, and we do something when we pick a word out, which is to check, right? And check for duplicates. Okay. So if how do we check for this duplicate? What comes to mind is to filter. Let's filter through the duplicate, through what we have basically. Just connect to my charger. Filter through to see if a duplicate exists. We're going to say const rest something, and then we say chars or words dot filter, right? And we check if I'm just going to use W, right? So we pick out each word. We could call it W, we could call it anything, right? Or we could just call it letter or filter each letter if to check. So we're going to return a letter, right? If it is equal to the word that we have. So I'll just explain. So we're trying to look through the words array, picking each word, which is just each letter, for example, D, right? And then we'll come here. This is where we check for duplicates. We are filtering through words to check if this word we have picked now matches any other, what do you call it, any other letter within the same array. So I hope it's not confusing. I'll go right again. For example, we have words, right? And for example, we have Dini, like we said. So word here is D, and we are filtering through Dini again to pick out all the letters that matches D. D is word, and then we're just checking for duplicates by saying for each of these, I'm not using the same word again, so there are no confusions, right? So for each of whatever we have in the array, check if another kind of word exists within the array. So if I should write it in a way that probably seems clearer, I can say if later is the same as word, right? Return later. Okay, so uh, that's exactly what is happening here. Okay, there's some indentation issues. This, this. Okay, so that's what is happening. So that single line expression, I fleshed it up to give, to make it more explanatory, and clear. So it's going to do that filtering through each letter in words, right? Until it checks and stores all the duplicates. So now it's done that for us within that. For this word, we've checked if for duplicates in words that, or we've checked for other letters that are exactly as word, that is duplicates for words, right? We would check, if do a final check, which is to check if res dot length, because it's going to store all the duplicates as an array. So if res dot length is greater than 1. Remember, it's checking words. It's different. It's a little bit modified compared to what we have where we said ini, dini. In this case, D is still going to be part of the array, I is still going to be part of the array, N is still going to be part of the array, I is still going to be part of the array. So in that case, it means that when we are checking if D exists, right, in words, again, yes, it will return just once, especially if it happens once, right? But if it's for I, it will return twice. So if there are no duplicates, it means there'll be one instance. If there are duplicates, there'll be more than one instance. That's why we're saying if the length is greater than 1, it means we just have one D. There are no duplicates. So if there are duplicates, we will push, that is add to our new array, this, right? And Else, if there aren't, just return this. Not return, pardon me. Push this. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've somewhat lost track of my indentations. But yeah. Okay. I think that should make it neater. So that's it basically. And by the time it's done, checking for each word in words for duplicates, we should have pushed new items, the correct match into the new array, right? And what happens after that? We've pushed, we iterated the push, then we convert. So we say new array dot join. That's how we convert, right? So return new array dot join. So we have one empty return there, isn't it? And that's should cover for the edge case where if word, if words, right? Okay, it's written like Ruby on Rails. If words, if word, right, is equal to nil, null, or word with length equals 0, right? That's word does not exist or it's empty, then return nothing, right? Okay, so that's an edge case there we have covered. Because we're taking we're taking in a string, but it's possible that the string does not exist, it's empty, or nothing is being passed in. So if nothing is being passed in, or it's just an empty string, a space right there, we should just terminate immediately than letting all of these codes run. Okay, so let's try to run and see what happens with our solution. Okay, we have a syntax issue right there. All right, let's fix that. Okay, okay, that looks soft. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. We did get a swap there. If the length is greater than 1, that means if there are duplicates on this, push this. If there are no duplicates, push this. But this is supposed to be for singles, right? So, yeah. So I'll just change this. Just do a swap. Yeah. Then tests. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just run through. Yeah, we covered the edge case of nothing being passed in there. Then we moved on to um, converting to lowercase. So we are not checking for duplicates, and then uppercase letters are treated different from lowercase letters. Then we created a new array to push in our new string characters based on the result of our comparisons, and filtering to find or check for duplicates, right? And we return the result, which we did as a string by converting the array to string. So let's do a proper run now that we have tested to see that this solution passes all the edge cases provided. Okay, so that passes. All right, so thank you for joining me to solve this. I'm glad you did, and I'm open to all of your suggestions. So, because of time, I will not be solving in Ruby in Python. So, but if you are a Ruby developer or a Python developer, please leave your solution in the comment section as well. I'll see you in the next video for data structure algorithm practice. I remain Geek Elo, and I'm always here to be your programming buddy.